welcome to Across the Fence. I'm Jolie Whitney. Since 1995, Vermonters have been reading 7 Days, a free weekly newspaper that for many is a most trusted resource with its finger on the pulse on Vermont. 7 Days may have begun as what's known in the news business as an alt weekly, but with a circulation of around 35,000, it's likely the largest newspaper by circulation in the state. To talk about local news reporting in Vermont and what's next for 7 Days, I'm joined by Kathy Resmer. She's the deputy publisher of 7 Days and one of the owners. She's been with the paper since she started as a writer in 2001. Welcome.
Thanks, Jolie. It's great to be here.
We're happy to have you. So how did you start at 7 Days? What's your story?
Well, it's a little bit of a convoluted story. I grew up in Detroit, just outside of Detroit, Michigan, and went to college in Virginia, studied English. While I was there, I realized that no one's going to pay me to write poetry after I graduated. So I took a job doing environmental campaign work, and they transferred me up to Vermont. And I had actually never been to Vermont, didn't really know much about it. And I just remember arriving in Burlington in the summer of '97 and coming over the hill into town and just seeing the lake and the mountains and just feeling like, oh wow, this is my place.
Sure, you were hooked.
Yeah, I was totally hooked. And I wanted to be a writer, and being a writer here for me, I just wanted to be at 7 Days. I was reading the paper and was able to get my foot in the door as a freelance writer in 2001.
Yeah, that's incredible. So how would you describe 7 Days to somebody who's not from Vermont?
Well, as you said in your introduction, 7 Days started as an alternative weekly. It was an arts and entertainment paper back in 1995. It's grown and changed a lot since then. So today I would describe us as an independent news weekly. And I tell people that we do the kind of journalism that you'd expect to find in a national magazine instead of a free weekly newspaper. So we're doing pretty ambitious and enterprising work.
Sure, and you might have just answered my question, but you guys obviously have been thriving a lot, but the 2000s have been kind of a hard time for local news and journalism, so what's your secret?
Oh, well, I think our secret is probably the same as your secret. Here at Across the Fence and at WCAX, we have a great community. We just have this fantastic community of Vermonters who really care about what's happening here and feel connected to their communities. And, I think that, and 7 Days is just covering Vermont. All the information is relevant to our readers. It's also free. You can pick it up at the grocery store when you get your stuff for the week, and it's got great stuff in it. It's not just the news and the journalism, but we also have comics and a really great crossword puzzle. And once you finish it, you can do other things with it, like start the fire in your wood stove. So
absolutely, multi-purpose.
Yes, exactly.
And I know it's kind of hard to put your finger on, but you said that Vermonters really engage with their local news. What do you think is the reason for that?
Oh, I think people here, it's such a small state, and we still have these great local communities, and people are, they go to town meeting, people see each other in the street, you go to the store, you run into people you know. I was at Costco over the weekend, I ran into like 2 people I know at Costco, so I think there's that small communities, but I think people also have to pull each other out of the snowbank as well. So we all kind of depend on each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And have you ever considered charging for 7 Days? It's a free newspaper.
Yeah, so kind of. In 2018, we started doing this thing called Super Readers. We have a Super Readers program. And we said, if you like our free newspaper so much, you can pay us for it if you want. And that, some people did that in 2018, but then 2020 hit, and with the pandemic, and half of our advertising went away overnight. And suddenly we said, we really need you. If we want this to continue, we really need your support. And amazingly, thousands of people are giving us money for this free newspaper that we put out there in the world.
Sure, so you don't charge for it, but you're always happy when people want to give back.
Yes, we are. And I should add, we also, a few years ago, got a fiscal sponsor. So now we can raise money for specific projects. And, we are able to accept grants from foundations and major donors. The band Fish has a foundation called Water Wheel Foundation, and they sponsor our calendar listings.
Yeah, that's incredible. Keeping the lights on, absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
And Vermont tends to have a little bit of an older demographic, but you apply to people kind of across the board. So how do you do that?
My kids keep me honest. I have 2 teenagers, and they are very honest in what they look for in news and where they go in the paper. So I think that's really important for those younger folks. We also have a multi-generational staff. We have folks on staff who are Gen Z to baby boomer. And then we just talk a lot to our readers. We not only are we getting people who are sending us super reader contributions, little handwritten notes in the mail, but we also interact with our readers pretty regularly. We have letters to the editor. And every single one of the letters that we write, that we publish in the paper, we confirm that those people exist and wrote that letter. We give them a call and they tell us what's on their mind. And sometimes, those are some pretty critical letters. And having those conversations with readers, I think, is really important to be able to reflect that, and know what's interesting to a wide range of people.
Yeah, absolutely, keep you grounded.
Yeah.
And one of 7 Days' signature events is the Tech Jam, which started in 2008. So tell me a little bit about how this event started and what it is.
Yeah, so back then we were noticing in our newspaper that we had these job ads in our employment section for companies that we'd never heard of. And the jobs were things that we weren't really familiar with either, like software developers and computer programmers. So we thought, well, that's interesting. And we thought, well, let's host this big job fair where we get all of these companies under one roof. And people can come, and employees, people who want a job can come, and the employers can talk to them. But also, we decided to use that opportunity to tell Vermonters about the tech sector. So it's not just the job fair aspect of it, but we also, 7 Days does a tech issue before the Tech Jam every year. It's in October. This year is October 25th at Hula. And so it's really a chance for folks to come and apply for a job, but also to learn more about these really different and amazing companies like Beta Technologies, which is pioneering electric aircraft.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
And one of the more recent programs you guys have done is the Good Citizens Challenge. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, the Good Citizen Challenge came out of our parenting publication, Kids Vermont. We have a coloring contest in Kids Vermont, and for a long time I thought, we should do a civics contest or some kind of contest that's not just, coloring or writing. So in 2018, we started running this competition. Well, not a competition, really. It was like a self-guided scavenger hunt, suggesting to kids that they learn about their community, and then also sort of got them interested in local media. And we are now in the summer. Last summer, we partnered very successfully with WCAX to have drawings every week of kids who were doing these activities. And we're gearing up to do another one this summer. Lots of activities for kids to learn about their communities and get involved.
Sure, and what were those activities like?
Oh, well, there's everything from picking up trash on the side of the road to visiting your town clerk's office and looking up a deed for a property that's important to you. And really importantly, reading and watching the local news and learning about programs like Across the Fence. Actually, I might make that an activity this year.
You should. Yeah, we would love that.
Yeah,
that would be great.
Definitely.
And you started as a writer at 7 Days, so do you have a favorite story from your time in Vermont?
Oh gosh, I have so many. The one that really I think about a lot is in 2007, I wrote about Burlington's Lakeview Cemetery. I believe the kicker was, don't wait until you're dead to enjoy Lakeview Cemetery, which it's true. It is the most amazing place in Burlington to take a walk, I think. But the woman who pitched that story, Jane Ewing, I had such a fantastic time talking to her, and this was, almost 20 years ago, and I just thought, oh, she's really great. I wish we could be friends. And we, sort of kind of stayed in touch over the years, but recently, in the last couple years, she has moved into the Converse home near my office, and she's 96 now, and I visit her every few weeks and just sit and talk with her, and we read the same books and we talk about the world. But that's a story that I think about because it really introduced me to someone who's really meaningful for me in my life.
Absolutely. And you've worked a little bit more behind the scenes at 7 Days recently, but has there been a story that you didn't write yourself, but you're really proud that 7 Days put forward?
Oh yeah, every week. The one, so last year, our news writers alone wrote 700 stories.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's everything from quick hit, election results to investigations that take weeks or months to plan and to write and research and edit. And the one that I think about a lot was in February, Derek Brower wrote this story about Decker Towers in Burlington. Decker Towers, I'm sure you know, it's a high-rise where there are elderly and disabled residents. They're a vulnerable population, and they were experiencing a lot of unhoused folks coming in, and they were using drugs in the hallways, and they were really under siege, and they couldn't get anyone to listen to them and pay attention to what was happening. And Derek spent several nights following them and interviewing them, talking with them And then he wrote this story that I think really captured attention right before the mayor's race. And a lot of things happened as a result of that story. The residents, he's written several follow-ups since then, and things have gotten better there. But, you know, I remember one of his follow-up stories, one of the residents at a public meeting afterwards said, you know, it feels like Burlington really woke up now. And I think, you know, that is what, the ability to do that kind of journalism, to support that kind of journalism, that's really what gets me fired up to do the work that I'm doing now.
Yeah, and obviously 7 Days has a huge spread everywhere across the state, but is there a strangest place that you've found a 7 Days copy?
Oh, wow. So I asked around. I was trying to think of some, and the one that comes to mind is last year, Marianne Lichtai, one of our culture writers, she wrote a cover story about Shayna Taub, who's a Vermonter who wrote and starred in the musical Suffs. So Marianne sent me this photo posted on social media. Someone had taken the cover story of Shayna Taub with 7 Days on it, taken it to Broadway, and had her, and she was signing it. Shayna Taub was signing it on Broadway, and I thought, oh, that's really cool to see that moment. But you know, my favorite place to see 7 Days is just at the coffee shop, or when I'm out with friends and seeing other people just pick it up, any random person just pick it up and take it home with them, and I just think, oh, I feel so proud to be part of that.
Yeah, that's great. We only have about a minute left, but I quickly want to ask, right now is kind of 7 Daisies season,
yes.
Which is a competition where people can pick their favorite pretty much everything Vermont. So tell me a little about that program.
So yeah, Vermonters can pick among their favorite local businesses and services and places to go with the kids. And it's really about celebrating local businesses. You know, it's so easy right now to go on your phone and just hit buy, and the package shows up at your house. You don't have to leave. You know, our local businesses here in Vermont are part of the fabric of our community. They're part of what makes Vermont so special. So the Daisies is a chance to celebrate those businesses and encourage people to shop there. And, you know, the businesses, they put their Daisies awards on the wall, and then you know you're going into a business that the locals, there's a reason that they've won all those Daisies.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess if people want to vote, there's still time to vote on the finalists, right?
I think so, yeah. So we've already had the nomination round, but we're going to vote on the finalists, and
great.
Pick your
Put in your 2
favorites.
cents. Thank you so much for joining us today, Kathy.
Thank you so much, Julie. It's great to see you.
And that's our program for today. And my thanks to the crew behind the scenes here at WCAX for making our program possible. I'm Jolie Whitney. This is Across the Fence. Have a good one.